Hi, Danielle. Welcome to my channel. How are you?
Oh, well, thank you. And I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We have finally a sunny morning in Norfolk. We'll see for how long. But it's a beautiful day, to be honest. It is cold, but it's a beautiful day. I think we should appreciate every single day despite the weather.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a bit rainy here. I can just see it, but hopefully the sun will come out later on today.
Yeah. Right. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. You and I only communicated on Messenger.
Yeah.
Um, because we both know the amazing Hazel.
Yeah.
And I am so glad and I'm so grateful that you accepted my invitation. Um, I had a look on your website. You do some incredible spiritual work. Could you please tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So I am a psychic medium, teacher, and mentor. And I've got a real passion for helping people develop their abilities. And I wanted to give people the information that wasn't readily available to me when I first started discovering my abilities. So I currently hold workshops in psychic development and mediumship development. I am hoping to plan a lot more group workshops in different areas. I also mentor people who want to go a little bit deeper into their abilities. Now, I believe that everybody has these abilities and it isn't reserved for specific people. So we hear a lot, don't we, that not everybody can connect in with themselves. I don't believe that's true. I think we've all got the right to be able to use our inner compass. So we were actually born with these abilities, and gradually, as we grow up, they get suppressed. And that can be for multiple reasons. Now, when children start to see spirit, naturally their parents will try and comfort them by kind of saying, oh, there's nothing there. So this is how gradually they get suppressed. And that isn't intentional, that is more comfort as we are children. So I really want to help people open that back up again and dig a little bit deeper into their own internal compass. Um, so these workshops, I mean, even if people don't want to go into reading for the public, I believe learning to connect to ourselves is beneficial for everybody. Um, so we can learn to connect to our own
Mhm.
intuition and open up to that. Now I do try and give people all of the information that they need. So I started opening to spirit when I was very, very young, and there just wasn't the information as easily found as it was today. So I did suppress it for a number of years. Um, and I mean, when I did get drawn back to developing my abilities, I found that there wasn't a whole lot of information behind why certain things were done. So why is meditation important? We're told that we've got to do it, but we're never kind of really told why. So I try and go into that a little bit and give people that information that I didn't really have. Um, but I also try and give people the support because I feel it can be overwhelming. And I think that finding that support network is just as important as developing your abilities. So I do try and provide that support to people as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And I mean, I do also do sort of psychic and mediumship readings to help people uncover what they need to know and give that guidance. But I am a great believer in sometimes we've got to discover our own journey because I think that we spend a lot of time thinking, right, okay, what is our sole purpose? And we start looking outside of ourselves and we start spending a lot of money on getting this. So this is why I try and teach people how to do it as well. So if they want that guidance, that little prompt, that's fine. But also let's try and look at what we are supposed to be doing within as well.
Yeah. I like what you said there about suppressing our psychic abilities. And
Yeah.
also you mentioned the word intuition, because I developed my psychic abilities maybe the last year and a half, I would say. And during the last couple of months, eh, I've become really good. a friend of mine even asked me some questions about someone, and she was like, oh my God, I got exactly the same thing. And she's a psychic, and she's more experienced psychic than me. And I love it. You know, it's just, I can connect with my higher self anytime I want. And this is what intuition, I like. I like that I've developed my intuition as well, because when I'm seeking answers for something, I just connect with my higher self, and I allow my intuition to guide me. And I remember years ago when I was younger, we were told, oh, intuition is just, it's not true, you know, it's just on the movies. No one believes that. Well, no wonder we suppressed our psychic abilities, because, you know, society told us it's just a lot of BS, but it's not, and it's so beneficial. And what I'm trying to say is, you know, what you're saying, it is true, and it's very, very helpful. But I allowed myself to um, to be open and ready to receive my new abilities. And I think people are still struggling a little bit, even though there's so much help, as you said, and information available now online. Back in the day, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
What from your experience, what would you say are the biggest obstacles people are facing when they come to you? Let's say, you know, I want to have a session with you, and I know that there is something inside me that needs opening up. But I is it people's ego? Is it society that's still trying to suppress us? Yeah, what would you say is sort of the biggest obstacle for people in developing their intuition?
So I would say absolutely, without a doubt, themselves. I see so many people that say, oh, I can't do this, you know, I'm not good enough. And especially when we're looking at mediumship. Now, when we are doing group practicing, people will quite often say, I don't think this is right. I don't know why I've seen this. I don't know what this is, but, or I've not got very much, but, and it's like, oh, you have, you know, you've got this piece of information that has resonated. So I absolutely think that it is ourselves, you know, we're not thinking we're good enough. We don't think that we can do it. And I think society does have a little role to play in that, you know, because there is this taboo still, isn't there? You know, people still kind of frown upon psychic mediums.
Yeah.
So I think we've got a little bit of that, you know, what are people going to think? But yeah, the biggest obstacle is ourselves. Now, if we start to change our mindset, instead of saying, you know, we can't do this, or you know, I've never opened up, so I'm probably not going to be able to do it, but you know, change it. Yes, this is my birthright. I have the right to use my own intuition, my own psychic ability, and just watch things start to change for you. But, you know, people think that we have to do something big to start using our intuition, and we
Yeah.
don't. You know, you could be walking down the street and something will just come into your mind. That is your intuition. Now, if it's things like, oh, I've not done the washing, you know, I need to clean the house, that is likely our mind coming in. But when we are getting you know, guidance coming in like, you know, oh, I should contact this person because I've not spoken to them for a while. And half the time when we get that, you'll find there's something going on with that person's life that we had the urge to contact. So that is our intuition kicking in, and it looks very differently for each person. But generally speaking, it can just be a simple thought that comes in.
Yeah. It's funny that you use the word mindset, because I often use this word mindset, and everything is down to your mindset. Doesn't matter what you want to achieve in life, whether you want to meet your soulmate, whether you want to buy your dream house or have more money or become a better version of yourself. Everything is down to your mindset. And I often preach, you know, convert the negative into positive, because positive thinking will never give you positive life. And I think that people still live in fear. I don't know what you think. Have you, I'm sure you have, but have you met many people who sort of create this obstacle of fear in their lives?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few people that I've spoken to have said, you know, they are scared of what they might see, you know, they're scared of what people might think of them. So there is absolutely, you know, a fear-based blockage as well.
Mm.
And we kind of suppress that. But we also see kind of blockages where people believe that they're not worthy of things too. So, for example, they may not think they're good enough to get the job, they're not worthy enough to get a certain job, they're not worthy enough to earn a certain amount. So we've got the fear-based aspect, sorry, but then we've also got this self-limiting belief where we don't believe that we are worthy of that.
Yeah, yeah. I know, and you know, I used to be that kind of person, and it took me a while to change this about me. And at the beginning, when I tried to sort of step away from fear, it was very difficult. My
Yeah.
heart was beating really fast. I was sweating, and I was thinking, "God, what am I doing? Why am I doing this to myself?" But I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm just gonna deal with it."
Yeah. I mean, it's our safe zone, isn't it? It's our comfort zone, you know.
Yeah,
Keeping ourselves small and not being seen is our safe place. Actually going out there being seen um is uncomfortable, and doing what we always do is safe, you know, we're not going to fail.
mm,
Whereas if we take that leap, we feel like we could fail,
yeah,
you know, and what are people going to think of that? You know, how am I going to get over this failure? So yeah, I think people keep themselves small for that reason as well. It's fear of failure.
yeah, yeah. There's nothing wrong to fail, by the way, whoever is watching this. I have failed. I'm sure, Daniel, you have failed many, many
Yeah.
times. I'm still here. Nothing bad
Well, it's
happened.
absolutely a lesson, isn't it? You know, it's a lesson on how we can do things
Yeah,
better. You know, it's not failure, it's necessary for our growth. You know, it
yeah,
teaches us what works, what doesn't work, and it really gives us the strength to kind of carry on. Gives us that motivation, that goal to work towards. So it's never failure. It is just a little lesson, and we may just need to tweak things a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Um, what would you advise people to do if they want to step away from fear? I know there isn't an easy fix, by the way, I know that. But, you know, what would you say will be the first thing to do if someone wants to step away from their fear? Because, you know, fear can be a huge obstacle for achieving our dreams.
Sorry, we just had my dog chirping in there.
Yeah,
So yeah, the first thing I would say is get comfortable with the uncomfortable and start small. You know, we don't have to do anything big. We can just start to take little steps to come out of our comfort zone. But it is, oh,
the
sorry, I was
dog
just
wants to
letting
be
him
on camera,
calm
I
down
think.
there. Pardon?
The dog wants to be on camera.
I know, I think he does. He usually snores actually when I'm recording. So yeah, with fear, we absolutely have to take ourselves out of our comfort zone a little bit, and be comfortable with that. But again, doesn't have to be massive steps. You know, if you're someone that's uncomfortable on camera, you don't have to go and record yourself straight away. You can just do little tiny things, take little tiny steps. With my development workshops, I always tell people instead of doing face-to-face practices, do things like photo readings, do things like written readings. So it's that kind of concept really. Take small little chunks and do the uncomfortable.
Can you still hear me?
Sorry. Yeah, I think I might have lost you then for a moment.
All right. No, we're still here. Yeah, technical difficulties happen sometimes. Um, right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think baby steps is it's a good way to leave your comfort zone, not sort of, you know, jumping big hoops, because that will cause anxiety as well. You know, if you do something that you're not ready for. I remember last year, no, this year, I was a guest speaker at a motivational event in Bath. That was the first time I ever did something like this, and I think I was way over my head. I mean, I did it, you know, I didn't, you know, changed my life or anything. But now when you said that, I'm thinking, God, I should have started small to talk about something that doesn't take so much energy. Yeah, starting small is a good way to get out of your comfort zone. And I do that too. And it really works. It really works. And I'm very proud with myself for doing it, because the thing is, nobody else is going to do it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, before I started hosting workshops, so I usually have anywhere from 10 to 15 on some of them, depending on what it is. But before I started running them, I offered quite a few free mini workshops. And there was probably anywhere from 5 to 15 people on those. And that was really to get myself comfortable with speaking and actually hosting a workshop, because that wasn't something I'd done before. So I'd kind of done 6 or 7 free ones because there's a lot less pressure when it's free. So I did that beforehand, and I remember there was one, and there ended up being 25 people on it, and I could see everybody sat in the waiting room, and I was like, oh, I don't think I can do this, but I did, and it really taught me a lot. But yeah, I did a couple of smaller ones before that, so I think it was just me being ready to take that leap and host a bigger one. So yeah, I am absolutely glad that I did take the smaller steps beforehand, because it really kind of got me into what I'm doing now.
Yeah, you got yourself ready for the big things. And I what when you said that when you said that, oh my God, am I really ready for this? And this is again our mind, our ego, I think, trying to protect us from the unknown. And you'll be like, oh, well, of course I can do it. If as long as you believe in yourself, who cares? And that is really good. And I think part of the problem is that people don't believe in themselves enough to take that leap of faith, as you said. Do you think that people are evolving spiritually well, actually, I don't want to put timing, but do you feel like people are evolving spiritually more now than they did a few years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot more interest in spirituality. I mean, even if people are not actively developing it, people are certainly going for readings and trying to get advice that comes from obviously elsewhere. So I think there certainly is a bigger interest in it. Now, I have been to a lot of cacao ceremonies, and honestly, there are so many people there. So there's a lot of interest, a lot of people trying to really concentrate on themselves. So yeah, and if you look at so I probably started opening to spirit around 21 years ago. This was all kind of, I was very young, and this was all kind of hush hush. There was a spiritual church not far from us, and we started going there. But that's all there really was, there was no Facebook. I think now that we've got kind of the internet, we've got Facebook, we've got groups, there is that support. And I think this is why people are moving towards kind of developing or having that interest, because it is more easily available. So we are in the age of technology now, aren't we? And I think that's only going to grow, because if you look, we've got other platforms. We've got YouTube. So there's other ways that we can actually get this information now. And I think it will continue to just grow and grow and grow.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping, to be honest, because I speak to people who are not spiritual, and sometimes I can sort of see in their eyes that something in their brain clicks. They resonate with what I'm saying. I mean, my future husband, for example, I wouldn't call him spiritual, he believes that everything happens for a reason, for example. But when I say something to him like, this is a sign from the universe, or, the universe is going to guide us, and he actually believes this, I can see that he doesn't think that this is a lot of nonsense. So I think we need to continue planting the seeds. Obviously, I'm not forcing anybody to become anything, but because spirituality is a beautiful thing and it can unite us for a better future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can
And
I ask you something? You mentioned earlier mediumship. Is this what you said? Psychic and mediumship. What is the difference between psychic and medium? I've always been confused about the two. I thought it was the same thing.
yeah, so psychic is the energy of a living person, a living being. So we've all got an aura, and our memories, information is stored in this aura. So when we are reading somebody's psychic energy, we are going into their aura and we are reading that information. When we are connecting to spirit, so mediumship, we are connecting to a higher dimension, a higher frequency. So yeah, they are the differences. Now we do also have our higher self. We've got spirit guides as well. Our higher self is a piece of us that resides in a higher dimension, and spirit guides are assigned to us for our journey through Earth, and they again are in a higher dimension. So think of psychic as anything kind of in the third dimension. So kind of the earthly energy, and mediumship is kind of a higher dimension.
Right. Oh, okay. So is medium someone who can connect you with people who are not in the 3D world anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. I get
Yeah.
it now. Thank you for this. Thanks very much. Also you mentioned your workshops a few times. Could you tell me a little bit about your workshops? How what's the duration of a workshop? What's the purpose? Do you have different workshops for different things? Yeah, if you could share a bit more about your
Yeah.
workshops, please.
Absolutely. So I have two different ones at the moment. So I've got a psychic one and I've got a mediumship one. So they are both 6 weeks, and it is for an hour each week, because I find that if we do any longer than an hour, we can start to so it's all kind of energy based, isn't it? So we can start to deplete our energy, we can become tired. So I find an hour is kind of optimal for doing these, and I think once a week is enough for people to be able to commit to. So if we started including a couple of hours each week, life gets busy, things get in the way. So I think, yeah, an hour is easy enough for people to commit to most of the time. So on the psychic one at the moment, what we look at is we look at using tools initially. So we'll look at using oracle cards, tarot cards, and reading them intuitively. We'll look at using the pendulum. And then I also do a little bit on reading without tools. So actually going into somebody's aura and having a look at their energy and being able to read that. So mediumship is quite a bit more in depth, because we are connecting to a higher dimension. The frequency is a bit different to ours. So it takes a lot more discipline to be able to connect. So yeah, we go in depth. We look at spirit guides in mediumship, because we do call upon them quite a lot on mediumship. We do in psychic, but mediumship, we should be calling on our guides. And then I kind of take everybody through each week. So we do the guides week 1. Week 2, we start off bringing little bits of information through. I talk everybody through the opening up. And then we kind of build on that each week. And then by the time we get to kind of week 5 or 6, I let people go into breakout rooms and really get the connection without kind of me guiding them. And then I will observe so that I can give feedback to them. So yeah, it's an hour each week for 6 weeks.
That sounds good. Yeah, I agree with you. I think more than an hour, can be a bit overwhelming because it's a lot of energy that you put in this kind of thing, isn't it? Earlier you mentioned about meditation. I love to meditate. I actually wrote about meditation yesterday on social media. Can I just ask for your experience with meditation? How do you find it, and would you recommend it to people?
Yeah. I would absolutely recommend it to people. Now, it's important to note that there are different types of meditation. And for anybody who is just starting their meditation journey, It's not always easy to start off at first. You know, people think that we go into meditation and we can just instantly turn off our thoughts and we shouldn't have things coming in. Well, that's not true. You know, it's a process. We've got to build up to that. So if you are getting your thoughts coming in, that's okay. Acknowledge them, send them away, and do that as many times as you need to. And we can start off small. You know, we can start off with 5 minutes and then gradually build it up. You do not have to, on your first attempt, you know, do 20 minutes of meditation, not have any thoughts coming in. You know, we've got to build it up. Now, obviously, there's different types of meditation. So we can do guided meditations as well. And this is where we can really go on journeys. So we can do things like, so I will use a meditation to open up to spirit. We can do them to meet our spirit guides. We can use them to unblock chakras. We can use them to go into our past lives. So we can do those as well, and we can get a lot of results from them. And what I will say is if people are struggling with meditation, try listening to different frequencies, because I do that quite a lot as well, especially if you've had quite a busy day. Sound just helps give you something to focus on too. So it kind of takes away that pressure of not having any thoughts coming in because you can focus on the sound. But you can also use mantras and things like that. So it's not all just kind of sitting in silence. We can use meditation for a lot of different things. And I do find it very beneficial for me personally.
Yeah, I love meditation, yes. So I assume you were quite how shall I say, because you're so spiritual and I reckon you connect with people energetically quite often. What do you do to keep yourself grounded and to clear your energies when you need to?
So we absolutely have to protect our energy. And I would say even if you are not doing any spiritual work, we want to make sure that we're not absorbing the energy of other people. You know, because when we're out shopping, you know, we can quite easily absorb that energy and we don't really want to. So I just kind of imagine myself in a bubble of protection and just affirm that nobody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions can pass through my bubble. I will also imagine roots coming out of the soles of my feet and just affirming that I'm connected to Mother Earth. So that's a way that I ground. Um, I've also got an earthing sheet on my bed.
Oh,
They are available online. I do quite like those. I'm out in nature quite a lot with my dog. And I will quite often find a tree to sit under. Sometimes I'll even lie on the floor. I'll take my shoes and socks off.
yeah.
But because I'm doing spiritual work, I do a lot of grounding. I know that I've got to do that. Another thing I like to do is so this is just a piece of selenite. It's just a selenite wand. And you just kind of hold it over your body and you can just kind of go over your aura with it, just to remove anything that you may have picked up. So yeah, there's lots of different methods and techniques that we can use, but they're just a couple that fit in with my life. So
Yeah.
I like to do things that are kind of quick and easy because we've all got busy lives.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I like to have bracelets with crystals.
Yeah.
And I've got crystals all over my house anyway, but
Yeah, me too.
I like to put crystals next to my feet while I'm meditating because I can feel that they keep me grounded. Yeah. Any last words for whoever's watching this video?
Yeah, I think that anybody who is looking to develop their abilities and think that they can, everybody has got the right to do it. So you absolutely can. If you do come up against any blockages, just feel into where they're coming from, you know, is that something you're creating yourself? Because I do believe our minds can create a lot of these. So, you know, are you telling yourself you can't do it? Are you telling yourself that you're not good enough? So yeah, really have a look into that and keep going, keep practicing.
Excellent. That is a very good advice. How can people find you?
So they can find me, I've got a profile on Facebook, which is Danielle Violet. And if you find that profile, you can follow me. But I also have a development group, and the link is on that profile as well,
I will
just on the
include all of
pinned.
your links at the end of the
Yeah.
below the video. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for joining me today, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. See you later.